So it's pretty easy to work with these input fields. All we really need to do is set it up so that we read the data out of the fields and simply send it off to whatever website that we need to have this user added to our gardening resource group. So first things first, let's see about gathering this data up first, and then we'll see about sending it off. Now the first thing we're going to need to do is set up these fields, of course, so that they have instance names. That way we'll be able to refer to them. I'm going to use the same txt reference that we did before as part of the naming convention, and I'll just make the rest of the name whatever the field's going to be. In this case, this is the first name. We've got a txt for the last name, one for the email, and one for the favorite flower. Now I'm also going to make sure we have a button. Let's take a look at the send here at the bottom. That's just static text right now, so let's make sure that this is a button, and we'll use that as a trigger for our sending device. I'll just hit F8. We'll set it up to a button type, and I'll call it send button. Might as well give it a rollover so we know it's a button, so we'll just change the color of it. I think I'll just use a deep green or something like that for a rollover. And last but not least, I'll click back into our form, and we'll give this button an instance name so we can refer to it in ActionScript as well. Call it btn send. Now I think we're ready to write up some script. I'm going to start off by just gathering the data out of the fields. Now I'm going to want to group this ActionScript with the other ActionScript we've written, so we also will need to name this movie clip we're working in. So let's go back to scene 1. Let's click on that form movie clip, and let's just call it MC Form. Now we're ready to write some ActionScript. I'll bring up my ActionScript panel, and I think I'll put it down at the bottom after all of the home stuff. We'll put the form code. So I'll just put a little comment for it. Now I'm going to queue everything off of an event handler for the button. So we'll just set up the syntax for that. From the main timeline, we'll need to go into MC Form this time. We'll go out to that button. We called it btn send. And we're going to use an onRelease. That's a standard button event. And I'll just add my function syntax at the end. We'll open and close a set of braces so we can group our button functions together. And then inside of here, I'd like to just simply do traces so we can pull the data out of the form elements. To grab the text of the first name, I'll just simply pull out the text property like we've done before with the dynamic fields. Now let's give that a quick try. I've got my form here. We'll go ahead and add something in there, and I'll click our send button, and we'll see what we get. You can see we can grab the text right out of the form. Now if I copy that same code, I can grab the text out of each one of the other forms. What I'd like to do instead of just tracing it is I'd like to gather it up so that we can send this data off. I'll replace the trace syntax here with a quick variable. I'll use the var keyword to scope it. I'll call that fname, and I'll set it equal to that text. Now I do need to get rid of this parentheses left over from my trace statement. And I'm going to copy this line just so I can quickly gather up the rest of the data. We've got 4 fields, so I'll paste it in 4 times. And we'll make another property called lname for the last name. Email for the email, of course. And I'll just use fav for the favorite flower. Now I am watching the colors of these drop in just to make sure I don't accidentally use any reserved words.